time. We feel like a lot of Black stories get underrepresented.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're here for. We're here to amplify what we need to know about. And today is all about you. Um, Everything that I read, I was so enthralled. Like, you are a piece of work. You're a masterpiece.
Thank you.
You're so
Wow.
welcome. You're so welcome. It seems like everything that you're doing as far as theater is concerned has been a way of life since the beginning for you, right?
Truly. So I started in this business at 6 years old. I actually was watching an episode, a rerun of The Cosby Show, and my mom always tells the story how I turned around and I was like, I want to do what Rudy does. And she was like, okay. So education is all in my family. So she just put me into acting school, acting classes, and then my tiny little shy mousy self developed a voice big enough to be in commercials and TV. And then at around 11 years old, I discovered theater. And it was interesting that a lot of people are like, oh, and that you started in TV and you didn't do theater because your mom's from New York. And I was like, it's all around the fact that I saw myself represented on TV and I did not see myself in theater. So I didn't think it was a
Representation.
exactly. So I saw Rudy Huxtable. I saw this family that reflected my family. So I was like, well, of course I can do that. And
Right.
then later on, I learned about LaShawns from Once on This Island and Audra McDonald from Ragtime and Heather Headley from Aida. So then it was like, okay, I see myself now.
See, representation has been like the theme, especially since 2021 came in. And we definitely have to give applause to Kamala for that.
Hmm?
Because, of course, Obama kicked it off first when we see the little boy reaching his hand up to Obama. And you can see and you can feel the energy that this child can see himself as the greatest. And then Kamala comes in and affirms it for us as females. It's a powerful movement. It's a powerful moment. And I'm glad that you have had that since the beginning. And that is very, very instrumental because a lot of people do not have that same story.
Mhm.
So to see that you've been able to live out what you saw since 6 years old is amazing. And now you're like, you're history, you're a legend now, considering where you are at the Bay
No.
Area Children's Theater. Listen, I
Wow.
the first sentence. Do you mind if I read the first sentence really quick?
Please go ahead.
Okay. Yes, we have to do. I have to do this. Okay. Khalia is one of the only award-winning and nominated Black women to hold the position of artistic director in an award-winning and renowned children's theater and theater program. That's big. That's huge. So how did you feel once this moment happened?
It was surreal. Let me tell you. So for someone who has always had beautiful representation around me of strong Black women in my life. I'm raised by two amazing Black women, and I just never saw myself as a leader within this industry. I was really satisfied being a performer, a teaching artist, even a choreographer. And then I started to direct, and then I liked directing because I liked having full control over the whole process. And it really started to click in a few years ago that, hey, there's still things about this industry, especially for theater for young audiences, that need to change, shift, evolve. And people aren't doing that. And I keep raising my voice, but my visibility was still not really that big yet. And I
Right.
recognized that I needed to do things to get myself out there. And then people might start listening to the ideas that I had. So when I was approached by Nina Meehan, the CEO and founder of Bay Area Children's Theater, to take on the role of artistic director,
Your
I jumped.
mentor.
I was like, yes, because one, I love this company. I've been with them as a performer, a resident artist, a teacher, director since 2012. So I have history with them.
Yeah.
Two, it bring me back home to the Bay. Born in the Bay, 408, E40, all about it. And then Warriors,
Represent.
yes. I can talk all day about the Bay. And then the third thing was finally I'm going to have a platform where my voice, though it felt like it was starting to matter in the inner circles and the people who could make changes and shifts and the gatekeepers, I felt like now I have this title and this company to say, hey, y'all, actually, my ideas have some value to it, and this company
There
believes
you
it, so
go.
you should believe it too. So I'm really grateful that now, with this new title, it isn't the only thing that defines me, but it hopefully will help me establish some pretty exciting initiatives that the Theater for Young Audience community and industry can start to look at and uphold and hopefully do.
That's so dope. And it's even doper that your career path is invested in you. You know, majority of people that are working are more so invested in their career. And it's harmonious to be able to have both communicating sides working in your favor, because not only is it working in your favor, but it's working in favor for the children. The children are getting so much out of you enjoying and being passionate about what you're doing. And I think that's very, it should be applauded. I'm proud of you.
Wow, thank
You
you.
know, it's not easy dealing with the youth, although they are
Mhm.
bursting with creativity, but they're growing. Like, these are
They grow.
growing creatures,
Yeah,
right?
they're
And
wild.
yes, so for you to be able to bring the arts to life with them is strong. It's a strong message there, and it's going to live with them forever, because I remember my arts and music teachers from my
Mhm.
younger days. And
Mhm.
so, and you'll never forget them. You're making an imprint not only on the children, but you're making an imprint on history with them, because they're going to take it out there in the world. So you're doing an amazing thing. And I want to talk about this rap, this instrument, this play on. That's what I want to talk about. How did that happen? I think that is so cool for you to bring the theater into the home in a musical box. Like, let's talk
Yes.
about it. Let's
Whoa,
talk.
did you read the copy? Because that's exactly what it is. So yeah, well, as you know, theater was one of the hardest hit industries at the start of the official pandemic a year ago, almost a year ago, dear Lord.
Man.
And I was not in the initial phase because I was still not an employee yet of Bay Area Children's Theater. At the time, I was actually developing and adapting a kid's play about racism, which is based off of a kid's book about racism by Jelani Memory. But I was privy to the conversations and I was helpful and instrumental in the creativity around what the shows would be. And the whole point is that we realized that not only did kids deserve to have an escape still, but
Hmm.
also that it is escape from the screen, because we recognized and acknowledged the fact that school is now on screen. So parents are not necessarily going to be excited about more screen time. So we wanted to create an experience that was audio and also an opportunity to have some sort of engagement with physical objects that could only enhance the experience. Because we were like, listen,
So
it's your
cool.
imagination, your creativity bringing to life these stories. But we also have these trinkets, these toys, these items in this box that can help create that world for you and give you more ideas, because we really did want to emphasize, like, look around you in your home and bring that to life. You don't necessarily
Yeah.
need the box. The box is just a really nice, like, added thing. But the cool part is that all of our stuff is original work. We wanted to uplift new types of stories, stories that had no gender, had no race. It's really just about kids who are secret agents and nursery rhymes with a twist, and just like a really cool way of keeping musical theater engaging and exciting for young people as we wait for our buildings to reopen and our shows to happen again.
That's so cool. I if I had that as a kid, man, I feel like, we kind of always did have something like that just not a name on it, because I remember playing and making all kinds of things within the house as a kid.
That's how
So
the idea, but that's how the idea came out because Nina's kids were the perfect age and she would just look at them and hear them in the backyard creating worlds with
wow.
themselves. And she was like, you know what? We need to like package that. Uh,
Right. I mean, yes. I mean, it's the idea that you have been looking for that you didn't know you were looking for. It's like,
right. Now your eyes are open to so much more. The pandemic did a lot of things, but I think it did open our eyes to a whole lot of things that we were blind to or just weren't willing to or aware of was happening around us.
okay, so was this something that you have always wanted to bring to life, or was this literally something that just got birthed because of the pandemic?
This is something that got birthed because of the pandemic, but I will say it is something that we are excited about continuing even once we're open, because what it's done is given us a national audience and being able to go into communities and homes of people that we didn't know we could reach, because it's something that they can just go online and download, go to their local libraries and have a librarian help them with the headphones, and like it is as accessible as we can make it at this time with the resources we have. We want more resources to make it more accessible. But what we really love is that though we are Bay Area Children's Theater and have a community here, Play On, an audio musical adventure with an accompanying storytelling kit, that could go anywhere in the world. And we love
Yes. I love it too. I love it. So tell us what's next for you.
Sure thing. So this month is one of my favorite months, Black History Month, also my
That's
birthday month.
right.
Shout out.
Happy early birthday.
Thank you. And it's also an opportunity. I'm really excited because I embrace everything that is me, and I walk into rooms and acknowledging and accepting and loving the fact that I am viewed first as a Black woman. Like, actually, that's powerful to me. So I love that
Yes.
I'm in an organization that is predominantly white. They would say like a predominantly white institution, but they also embrace that. So I came to them and I said, hey, this month, let's have intentional programming that
Mm,
celebrates, honors, respects Black history and Black people and Black excellence. So we have a video series coming out with some of the members and our staff, our artists, even our board members are getting in on this, talking about who inspired them when they were kids, and specifically like of the Black diaspora, like who inspired you. We also are going to be bringing back a kid's book about racism, a kid's play
nice.
about racism. Our show, we're bringing that back for 4 specific days, for watch parties, just to again honor that Black history is now. So even though we tend to use this month to reflect on our ancestors who paved the way, there are young people who are creating history for us in the real time.
That's
So
right.
why we're doing it. And then the other thing that I'm really excited about is that I'm a part of an organization through TYA USA, which is the member organization for all TYA theaters in the United States, called BIPOC in TYA
Okay.
Advisory Board. And we have been working since September to create a guiding document that mirrors the We See You White American Theater document, the living document, these calls to action, demands, thought questions that are for these theaters to say, hey, we want to have an anti-racist, an anti-oppressive future. Excuse me, I got a cough.
No problem.
I gotta drink water, but I gotta make it cute because I'm on camera. So
You
yes,
did great.
thank you. So these are something else that I'm really proud of is it isn't necessarily tied into the theater that I work for specifically, but they have all been super supportive of me stepping into a leadership role in the national field, and basically amplifying Black, Indigenous, and people of color in children's theater and in children's education.
So a word that just stood out to me was predominantly white, and you made well in my reading you made there's mention made of your mentor, and there was a sentence that struck me really interesting, and it was saying along the lines that you didn't want to refer to your mentor as a white savior, and I love that because I love the way that it was poised in a way that your mentor has invested in you in a way that that allies should. And I think that it is very, very is very telling of character when you can be comfortable with self as far as being Black in America, and to be able to grow with an ally like that. Could you speak a little bit on your mentor?
Sure, I love to. So, like I said earlier, I've been with Bay Area Children's Theater as a resident artist since 2012. And I like to say Nina Meehan was the one that said, this is something you can do as a career. So in 2012, I auditioned for her for a show. I was like, I'm an actor and I'm just taking work. But I've always, in the back of my mind, loved children's entertainment specifically. And I've always been a teacher of little kids. So I was like, I don't know if I can make this a thing, but I want to try. She cast me in the show, and then from there she was like, you're a teacher, you're a dancer, let's have you be the choreographer for our summer camps. Then she was like, you're great, come back again next summer. Did that. Then they're like, you know what, we're developing some new school tours, we want you to be a part of that. So what she kept doing is she kept offering me, I would say, these gifts of opportunities and performances and work. And I think she was like slyly being like, you're good at this. You should do it like full time. But as you probably know, because you work in media, there's this misconception that children's theater, children's entertainment is somehow less than uh,
Absolutely.
adult media or adult entertainment. And it was challenging as an actor first to express my love and passion for this type of work in an industry that was constantly being like, but when are you going to be on Broadway? And when are you going to book that TV series? And when are you going to get that movie with Viola Davis, who that is still in the cards. I want that.
You're gonna get that.
That's right. Manifest it. So
Yes.
it
We
was,
recorded it right here. We said it here first.
yes. Also like family, Khalia Davis, Viola Davis, it has
Yeah.
to
Come on.
So I was really taken with a woman who kept pushing this idea that I deserve to be in these spaces, shining my light in this way and influencing young people in the way that I wanted to do so. I had a direct access through these school tours to little Black and brown babies who looked just like me, who could see
Hmm.
me step out first. I was the first one to come out of the curtain and sing a song. So they immediately are like, oh, yeah, I love that. This, I could do that. I want to talk to her. It was amazing. So after that, she was like, great, you should choreograph for me in the main stage show. Like, you should work with the adults. And I was like, I don't know about adults. Do this. And again, it's that same idea that she saw potential in me before I could see it. And I feel very grateful for her for that. I also really appreciate her doing the thing that I had asked so many other theaters to do, which is take a chance. So often you get the Tim Burton, Johnny Depp effect, or the Martin
Hmm.
Scorsese, Leonardo DiCaprio effect, which is like this director loves this one actor and therefore they're only going to hire
Yeah.
one actor. On one hand, that's dope. Good job. I can't wait to be that for somebody. But on the other hand, what it does is it limits who else you can meet and what other artists you can collaborate with and what new experiences they can bring and maybe make something really cool. So I also really appreciated and can speak highly of the fact that she was one of the first leaders in our industry to say, I want to take a chance on you. I want you to direct this show. 2 years ago, I premiered the show She Persisted the Musical, which is based off of Chelsea Clinton's book, She Persisted. It was the world premiere. I was the director. I helped in the
Wow.
development process. It
That's
was a
huge.
very big deal because, and now
That's
me and Chelsea, we're
huge.
tight, we're friends. She's lovely. I have met her parents. I have hugged her parents. Pre-pandemic, we hugged pre-pandemic. I just want to make that clear with people.
Disclaimer.
and and that I think was the final thing that I needed for myself to ignite this like idea that I can do this. I can make this one a career. I can be in charge of and leader over larger projects than just like the kids musical, but I can actually do something bigger that touches more people. And it's really inspired me to see what else I can do within this career. So that's why I very intentionally say, like, she isn't a white savior. She wasn't doing the blind side thing, being like, you can do this, I believe in you. She was like, here's what you're gonna do, and I'm gonna go back there and you go take care of that. Good job, you be in the front. It isn't me, I'm just giving you a platform for you to succeed.
I love it. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful connection. And I also want to go on record saying, although you may have been questioning yourself if you had the leader capability, you've been living it your whole life still. So you've been believing it the whole time too. I just don't want you to forget that. You know
My
it.
mom said that too. She's like, you realize if you reflect on your life, there have been very clear moments when you
Yes.
stepped into a leadership role. So this is no different. It's just a title.
Yes. Yes. And as we get older, it's only a part of life that we question, if we are worth it or not, because we're growing. We're growing creatures, and that's okay. But we know that we got it. And I'm proud of you for what you've been able to add to society, especially to Black America. It's very important. It's vital. And I just want you to keep going. And I know that you are. I mean, it's your life now, and it's beautiful. And you've given it to these babies, and they are gonna forever be grateful. And I know their parents are too. It's a
I hope
beautiful thing.
so.
Yeah.
And I want to say thank you so much for like basically just uplifting me today. I think that
No
I did not
problem.
expect that. I was coming here to be like, yo, I checked out your site, I checked out your Insta. I was like, I was ready to give you so many flowers. But it also just warms my heart that you see the benefit of young
Yes.
people in the arts. And we're really, that has been our biggest message in 2020 when everything was going down with the COVID relief bills. We're still fighting to convince government that arts for young people is so vital and necessary. And I'm hopeful that moments like Amanda Gorman performing her beautiful poem, using
Yes.
to activate as a young person in front of millions of people. I'm really hoping that more moments like that will convince them that, yeah, we need these children to see art. We need these children to experience art, and we need them to do art.
Yes, we do. And before we get out of here, I have one last question.
Okay.
And that is, when you hear Black with No Chaser, what comes to mind?
What comes to mind is that we are black, 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 black. That's the first thing that comes to mind. There is nothing mixed in, though mixings are beautiful and we embrace every color. We embrace all of the shades, the hues of our Black sisters and brothers and femmes and non-binary. We embrace it. However, I do appreciate that it's not only referring to possibly like you are Black and that is who you are, but it's also the culture behind it. So we're not whitewashing anything we're talking about. We're showing up authentically as our true self outside of the white gaze. We are able to just create and speak on Black issues for Black people. I hope
Perfect
that's what
answer.
you think it means. I don't
Perfect.
know.
Perfect answer. Well, to answer that, there's no wrong answer to that. That's the goal of this question. Every time I've asked someone, no one has said the same thing, and that's what we want, because we are not a monolithic people.
Mm-mm.
And there is no one answer to that question. It's exactly what you feel. So, yes, that was a beautiful answer. And thank you so much for sharing your time. Before we get out of here, I want you to let the audience know where they can find you.
Oh, of course. So you can find me on my socials. Khalia, KHALIASHD is my Instagram. Davis Khalia is Twitter. And you can just look at my website, KhaliaDavis.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time, Queen. You keep killing it out there, and we're going to keep supporting you here at Black with No Chaser. We're forever proud.
Thank you so much for this time. I feel very honored to have shared space with you today.